one, she went absolutely nuts. She went retarded. And the thing is, they completely get away from it, and they use what Disney did to benefit them to their advantage. That's why they go and they change their image entirely, and we see very few of them not doing anything. Just an example for you, I posted a couple of pictures on my Facebook page there this evening of a young girl from Australia that I had the chance to hang out with this evening, and she was such a huge fan of Hannah Montana. So when she found out, I was so into this kind of thing, I had the biggest kind of conversation with this 8 to 9-year-old who was actually living here for a year. And the thing was, she didn't care about Miley or what Miley had done with the Wrecking Ball music video or anything. What was interesting or We Can't Stop. The thing was, she always went back to the Hannah Montana era of Miley's career. And I don't understand why Miley has forgotten about that. The thing is, they shed it completely because Disney has such a hold on them. They have such a mentally and physical hold on them that they just snap. And that's totally unfair because there are so many people out there who haven't forgotten who Hannah Montana was. There are so many people out there who haven't forgotten who Demi Lovato is. There are so many people out there who haven't forgotten who Bridget Mendler is. It's just terrible. And I don't know why they do that to them. I just don't. Thank you, Heather, by the way, for that information that was confidential up to this point that I just released on YouTube. So if Disney comes after me, I'm sorry, but I had to tell.
Well, it happens to the best of us here, and and it's it's definitely different, and for a lot of people, and I always used to say to Nick, to when it came down to comparing shows, Nickelodeon to Disney, and I'd always say Disney Channel knows what to do with their stars, where Nick's not getting it done. And Nick was not smart enough, and Schneider's Bakery was not smart enough to make sure that things were going to coexist well between Jeanette McCurdy and Ariana Grande for Sam and Cat, because that show was going to be bigger than both iCarly and Victorious were, and was on its way.
Christmas.
Yeah, which was
Merry Christmas, Ariana. Merry Christmas, Ariana. Keep going, Bob. I'm going to tell Ariana what I really feel about that in a minute. But just, I've posted so many video blogs on that Sam and Cat show because that was one of my favorites. And just keep going because I'm loving listening to what you're saying.
Yeah, but I also find out that a lot of these people will not do as much because Nick and Viacom and Schneider's Bakery very, very much are big time tightwads. These people when they found out how big the show was, they wanted more money. And I heard that Ariana and Jeanette McCurdy didn't get along, which I have a hard time believing. I don't know if it's true or not. It could be. It could not be. But look what happened there. Sam and Cat should still be going on now, and should be already halfway through their second season right now. That's how much it was.
One season. One season, Bob. That's what they got. One season. That was a great show.
It was. I mean, and let me tell you, they should have been smarter. Pay your people. Pay them like Disney does. Push them like Disney does. You had a chance to really take over on Disney after Hannah Montana and Sweet Life and Wizards of Waverly Place at that time was getting ready to end. You really had a chance to run. Really run with iCarly and Victorious, especially Victorious. And I've said this before.
Was amazing.
Victorious
was amazing. Amazing.
And I've said this before. If these characters were a couple years older, and these characters you could have developed all this with these characters 2 years earlier, you probably would not have had a fourth season of Hannah Montana. That's how great Victorious was. Victorious was almost a Hannah Montana meets High School Musical type thing. Especially
what happened with Victorious was just God. I believed in that so much, but keep going there, and after you finish, I'll tell you what my thoughts were on Victorious and what actually happened there with that, because me and you had a lot to do with that, believe it or not, but just keep going there.
Well, Victorious, and what was happening there, I mean, you had someone in Victoria Justice, drop dead gorgeous, great singer, wasn't the best singer, but it was surrounded around her. I think Elizabeth Gillies and Ariana were actually better singers than her. And you had a group of characters that were different from one another that just created such a social microcosm together for where they were and how the story was done. That show should have probably been on its last season now.
The thing was, Bob, with Victorious, Victorious did not have a primetime slot until Me and You got on their ass. Before Me and You got on their ass, they were in prime time on the weekends, and that really fucked that show up so much it was unbelievable. That was the thing. They didn't have a prime time deal on a consistent 5-night out of a week basis. That was what fucked them up so much it wasn't even funny. Prime time is where these shows have to be, and they have to be there consistently. That's the issue with these shows.
Oh yeah, and I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. But then again, this was Nick, and this to an extent still is Nick. I thought the idea of Sam and Cat was great. You're taking two co-stars from two big shows, and you're putting them together in their characters from those shows, coming together, because it's not like it's the first time that these people were together. They did I Party with Victorious, sometime a couple years back. So it was very easy to put them together, and I thought, great move. I think the babysitting service may have been a little out there. Yeah. It was a bit stupid, yeah. But if you put something together where Ariana was going to live off her talents of singing, and because of what Jeanette McCurdy did as in her character on iCarly, she could be more of an MC, and you put together a little entertainment group. I would have had let it center around Sam and Cat, and maybe brought in a co-star from each show to be a part of it. Bring in Leon. I forget Leon Thomas from Victorious to. He'll be the musician of the group and play the music and sometimes do background vocals. And get either Gibby or get the nerd to be more the tech guy, and make something happen out of those four people. I think it would have been great. I think you needed that a little bit more. I thought the little kid as a con was great, but when you have the MMA fighter who's dumb as a box of rocks, that kind of took away from the show to me.
Thing was, I think that because these Disney shows and these Nickelodeon shows realized that I was doing so many video blogs and I originated from professional wrestling, I think what they tried to do, as stupid as it may sound, was kind of try to combine wrestling and MMA fighting into the kids shows, and that really fucked it up. I know that I was a really big fan of that stuff, but I mean, did they really, because I was paying attention so much to them in my video blogs, did they really have to go all out and bring in the MMA fighting and the wrestling to it? I mean, if they wanted me to guest star on a show, all they had to do was say. I mean, I would have come in and done commentary for it or something. And that's like the WWE. The WWE got absolutely ridiculous when I was posting video blogs for these celebrities. Because I was posting these video blogs, they were taking shots at Disney, especially Miley and the Jonas Brothers, so much it was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, if The Miz didn't like the idea of me mentioning Miley Cyrus on my show, did he have to come out and compare John Cena to Miley and the Jonas Brothers as much as what he did? Did the Divas have to come out and compare themselves to the Nickelodeon Disney stars? No, they didn't have to do that, and they didn't stop until I wrote a column on it, where I commented on WWE bashing Disney. You can still Google it. It's absolutely ridiculous how some of these people act just to get attention. Like, you've got attention. Just realize the potential that you have. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you on that one. I totally do. I mean, it's just, yeah. And you're right, man. Nick, if Nick is going to make it and still be comparable to Disney, let's face it. You should take better care of your shows, because SpongeBob is not going to last forever. Look
SpongeBob, the live-action movie. They're turning it into a live-action movie, for Christ's sake.
They're trying to bring back Ninja Turtles. Come on now. I mean, it's past its point. I mean, after Saban bought back Power Rangers and got them on Nick, now Saban's back to being, in his tightwad ways. Now all of a sudden he's finding people that are not a part of any unions, and not a part of the Screen Actors Guild, because he really doesn't want to get stuck paying people. And I'm sure you probably remember her real well, and she actually still looks great today. Amy Jo Johnson, who was the original Pink Ranger in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, she talked about the fact that they used to do 2 episodes a week, and they got paid by the episodes. And when I found out how much they made and how much success there was and how much they made off merchandise and all that, they made very little as far as extra where that goes, unless they were going to make a live appearance on stage somewhere,
You will never be the
showing their
fans
moves.
that
They were getting